to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning. All right. I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners approves the June 20th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Second?
Roll call.
Sabrina? Yes. Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Barb.
Jen, you're up.
Yep.
I'm just here, the state has a RLF agreement between the county and the state that they require. And I'm just here if you guys have any questions before the resolution gets passed later this morning, or hopefully gets passed later this morning. Because the state says it's required, and if you don't sign it, then we're gonna take all your money.
Yes.
So,
All right.
I don't know that that's what we wanna do, but that's up
Is
to you
that
guys.
library or
That's up to you guys.
Yeah.
The only thing that I do want to point out is that the last agreement technically expired at the end of December. I've been bugging them since October to get them out, and for some reason they decided June was good to send them out. So, I don't know.
No rush.
No rush. No rush.
Any
But
questions,
we
ma'am?
tried.
I don't. And thank you guys for all that you do for us as far as administering those ones. I know it can be
Well, that's a tough job.
crazy at times.
It's a tough job, but it's a fun job.
Good.
Jen,
Good.
I like to
you
see all
got
the
it.
different fun.
Yep. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
And the resolution's good. Thank you for coming.
Thanks,
Yep.
Jen.
All
for coming
Appreciate
in.
it.
They sell donuts down the
All
street.
right.
Shannon.
Sassy
Good morning. Good
pants.
morning. Sassy pants. Sassy.
Okay, before I do project updates, I just have a couple of discussion items. This elevators that we're doing right now, do you want to replace signs in there? Do you want new signage in there, or do you not want signs in there?
I do want signs in there.
Okay.
You talking about
because-
everybody's floor?
Yeah, you know, like when you
Yes.
walk in, but we'll get them. I'm gonna work with the same company that we did, you know, the big board at the entrance in the lobby.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of match it a little, like with the magnets, so if somebody moves, we could
Yeah.
move them.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Absolutely.
We'll just do little small ones like this in there, cause I did check with Otis, it's gonna be like exactly the same how it is now, so it would go on that little back wall.
Yeah.
Right when you walk in.
Yeah.
We're
I
good
think
with that?
that's good.
Sure.
Okie dokie. Now those won't probably be ordered till the very end when they're all in,
Mm-hmm.
so just so you guys know, so they'll be up right away. The update to the annex building, I was talking with Will from Veterans Services, we were all been meeting. They're gonna do some slight renovations in there that they are gonna pay for. One of them being when you first walk in, there's that lobby area to the left. There's an extra door in there that they wanna take out and infill to make the wall, so you don't walk through that area. You'd have to, so you walk straight through the main entrance, you go down the hall and then go to the left into the offices. They don't want that door there. So they wanna take that door out and then infill it with a wall. So,
And they're paying for it?
Cool.
I love
yep,
it.
they also want to, at the very back of the,
Let me interrupt you.
yeah.
Is the fire department okay with that?
Yes, we're all fine with it, the means of
Yeah.
egress are fine, the means of
Oh, okay.
egress, yeah, no, we already checked with all that too, yep. And then in the back of the building, there is a very large room in the very back to the right, the last, room on the right. They wanna put up a wall in there to make it 2 rooms and then add a door. So make it 2, because it's huge, cause they already have 2, meeting rooms already, so, and they're willing to pay for that and the electrical. The front door, currently it meets code, it's compliant with, the, ADA requirements, however, none of us are comfortable with the way it swings. So once you come up that ramp and you approach, the door swings towards you, you have to roll around it, like if you're in a wheelchair, but the stairs are right there. So we would like to get a different door to be put in so that you hit the button and it swings out and you can just go right in.
Oh, yeah.
Cause it makes more sense. Now maintenance will pay for that, cause that's kind of like a building.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pay for that one. They noticed when they've been doing these renovations that there's a crack in a sewer joint down in the basement. It's a very large crack that we're currently, having fixed right now, cause it's a problem. I asked the plumbers, I said, why would that crack? And they said lack of use, cause nobody's been in that building for so long it dries it out, cause it's cast iron. So I got educated. And then they're also gonna pay for, they want a break room, kitchen cabinets, you know, like they're gonna pay for the kitchen cabinets, but maintenance is gonna install them to save on cost. And I think that's all for that. Okay,
Oh, that's good.
that's all I have for that one. So, now I have project updates.
That'll be really nice.
Yeah, it's gonna look nice over there. And I like that ramp. It's not as what I was thinking when, at first, you know, it wasn't as monstrosity as I
came up
thought.
with-
Yeah. They still have to do the railing and stuff, but.
So,
All right, the first elevator that they're currently working on, they're scheduled to be finished on July 29th, pending the, state elevator inspector, but I'm sure it'll
Yeah.
be fine. So that's when, and then they'll start on the next elevator. On page 2, the new generator. So, been going back and forth with
Oh,
Ohio
yeah.
Cat sales rep. They changed their plans. There's 7 pounds of pressure that comes in this building, and the salesperson is taking full responsibility for this. The minimum, the new generator, has to be 7 pounds, and they're not comfortable, because it's 7 to 13 pounds, they're not comfortable using that generator. So they wanna use a diesel generator instead
Yeah.
outside. With that being said, we get a $33,000 credit versus, and it's gonna be another 16 to 18 weeks because I required a 600-gallon tank and not a 400-gallon tank. 400 gallons only gives us a day and a half to be on power. This will give us 3 days to be on power with the generator, so you have time to get it filled, so we're not calling for an emergency fill. So if the board wants me to move forward with that, otherwise you have to get a whole new gas line because it'll be very, very expensive if they wanna replace it. So I had a strong conversation with the sales rep and emails with his boss about why this wasn't discovered ahead of time, and the sales rep takes full responsibility. He said he kept talking it over with the installers, and they told him now that they do not believe that that's enough pressure for the gas.
So when is the proposed
So it'd be November. And we've been waiting since last April.
April?
I also required them to, because now if you have a diesel, you have to put a fence around it. They're gonna eat the cost for the fence that's being put around it and the pad and all of the new, permits you have to pull. So. I don't really see a different option, but they know we're very dissatisfied with the service that they provided, so.
Yeah.
We had a very wordy conversation yesterday.
Wordy?
Yeah, you know me with words. I like to talk. So, I don't really see a different option, but it's very disappointing, so. I am happy though to get $33,000 back as a credit, but still. I mean, the new generator does work. I mean, we saw that it did power
Okay.
certain areas of this building when it did, so it does still kick on, but it's on its last leg for that time when it doesn't kick on.
I did have to walk up 7 flights.
Yes, right.
We're gonna do that once a week,
All right.
Thursday afternoon.
Fire drills.
Well, now I know I can do it. That'd be good.
And he had to get his jacket dry cleaned because
I
he
did.
leaned up against the wall and had
I did.
drywall on it.
I did.
Aw.
That was the banister he crawled up.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
It was his forearm, he wrapped it around it.
Yep.
The
Yeah, Shannon.
The
We'll do
Caltron
that.
system upgrade is complete. We are done. Everything's live and
Awesome.
we're going. So that's awesome.
I was just thinking, we should have put a fireman's ladder. He could have went up and down that
Yeah.
pole.
We
There
put a
you
pole
go.
on the stairwells.
That's only good for down.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'd like to see you go up.
You wouldn't see me.
Okay, page 3, tax map. We just got the quotes. So the engineer's office is opening POs, and once the POs are sent to the contractor, they will go ahead and schedule the renovation for that. Remember that they're gonna move down temporarily to the
Yeah.
first floor.
Yeah.
So they're very excited about that. I know Leslie is. And then on skip some. On page 6, the Ravenna Courthouse elevators are done and passed. We're complete with the jail elevator. I did a woohoo because it's very exciting because it took so long.
I know.
So, yeah, so
Good.
it's exciting. And then, on the last page, page 8, the painting of the hallways and the bathrooms at the Riddle Block building, the start date is gonna be the week of July 8th.
Cool.
So we're just picking the color. I think we're gonna do like a lighter creamy gray, just because it's so dark in there.
Creamy gray?
You know, like a little, I don't know. It's
Anything
like
to
a,
lighten
you know,
that.
like we get a.
Gray and creamy just don't go
I
together.
don't know, it's like, I don't know, like a beigey gray.
It's lighter than this.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, but kind of more like what's in the hallways,
Okay.
so, cause the new carpeting, like creamy gray. I made it up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I have, I just have some resolutions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good job. Alrighty.
6.
Okay. The Board of Commissioners approves the specifications and sets the proposal date for prevention, retention, and contingency services for the Portage County Department of Jobs and Family Services.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement, amendment number 1, to support appointment of public guardianship for adult protective services referrals for the Portage County Jobs and Family Services and the Portage County Guardianship Service Board.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement for prevention, retention, and contingency visitation aid services for the Portage County Jobs and Family Services and Access Point Community Health Centers.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Development for the administration of the Portage County Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners agrees to enter into an amendment with the Portage County prosecutors to provide workers' compensation services for year 2024.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
The Board of Commissioners approves the plan, specifications, and estimates of cost and sets the date and time for the acceptance of bids for the construction of project number MWO21-00 Village of Manaway Water Treatment Plant Conversion to Liquid Chlorine in the Portage Regional Sewer District, Village of Manaway.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike? Tony?
Yes.
Thank you.
Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon.
Do miscellaneous?
Yeah, or Jackie's here. You wanna
Okay,
skip
Jackie.
over to her? Get her out of here.
Morning.
Morning.
I don't have anything too much out of the ordinary today, just I wanted to point out resolution number 6. This is an additional allocation that we received from the Ohio Department of
Okay.
Aging for the
Oh.
Healthy Aging Grant. It's $6,626, which, you know, it's a small portion, but,
Yeah, but we'll
you know,
take it.
Yeah, heck yeah.
they sent it, so we'll
Because
go ahead
they've
and
been
accept
able to
that.
do a lot of this stuff.
So they'll reallocate this to one or some of their contracts.
Okay. Okay, in accordance with section 305.30K of the Ohio Revised Code and this board's resolution 21-0396 and the board's resolution 21-0878, the Board of Commissioners acknowledges and approves the county administrator's approval to direct the auditor's office to process the June 20th, 2024 bills, ACH payments, wires, journal vouchers, and then announce as applicable contingent upon the verification of the reports as presented by the Portage County Auditor and reviewed by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to process the June 20th, 2024 budget amendments as reviewed and recommended by the Department of Budget and Financial Management.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 0001 General Fund to Fund 1166 ENPG Homeland Security Grant.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 117 Emergency Response LEPC CERP to Fund 1166 EMPG Homeland Security Grant.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 5200 PCS General Administration to Fund 5275 PCS OPWC 2006 CG02B.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 1413 WIA Fund to Fund 1410 Public Assistance Fund One Stop Sharing Cost.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to transfer from Fund 1413 WIA Fund to Fund 1410 Public Assistance Fund WIOA RMS Staff Cost.
Second.
Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept additional award amount from Ohio Department of Aging for Fund 1380 Healthy Aging Grant.
Second.
You say- Roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Judy.
Miscellaneous?
Yes.
Two.
Milpac's not here till 9:30.
There's a gentleman right outside.
Is that it? Is it, Chuck Kuiper?
Could be.
Hey, Chuck, Mr. Kuiper.
He's greeting.
It is Chuck, I hear him.
Are you Chuck? Well, just go on as you were, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I hope.
he's out there visiting with staff. Okay, I'm gonna go to miscellaneous.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the Portage County Revolving Loan Fund balance sheet dated May 31st, 2024, as presented by the Neighborhood Development Services.
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Mike?
Roll call.
You guys are ahead of me.
We're moving.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners receive the June 13th, 2024 correspondence from the Portage County Sheriff's Office, including the monthly record of proceedings and transaction for May 2024 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, section 325.07.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the June 18th, 2024 certificate of the county auditor that the total annual appropriations from each fund do not exceed the amended official estimates of resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2024, as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
I'll make
Yes.
a motion, the Board of Commissioners acknowledge receipt of the Canal Disposition Report and Intake Report for June 17th, 2024 through June 23rd, 2024, as presented by Chief Dog Warden Meddy McIntyre.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Michelle Hirschberger to the Portage County Board of Building Appeals.
Second.
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Chuck,
Yes.
Morning.
you ready?
You ready, sir?
Whenever you're ready.
Well, we're ready for you right
Come on
now.
up.
Okay.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to be seen. Good morning.
Good morning. Good
You don't have to get up.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Always got to get up.
I'll walk over there so our arms aren't that long. I
How you
love
doing?
that jacket, by the way.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good morning. Want me to sit here?
Please, if you would.
All right. I have my glasses on because I can't see
I
squat
can't see.
without it, unfortunately.
Can't see with them.
It's kind of like coming home when I come here. So
Yeah, you like the
it's kinda
digs,
nice.
where we changed it?
Yeah, I like this room a lot.
Yeah.
Our office looks the same. I like the front. I think was long overdue.
Yeah.
Added security touch there. File system's the same. I haven't gone back to my favorite restroom in the building, but
Still the
it's
same. We
there,
haven't
yeah.
remodeled it. If I'd have known you were coming, we'd have got it done faster.
All right.
I read accomplishments is what I was just told, but I really wanted to talk about Charleston, although I'm happy to tell you all of our accomplishments if that's what you're doing. Hello. We haven't met Chuck Piper. Nice to meet you. I'll give you a copy of this as well. First of all, I apologize. I think I was gonna come here some time ago, and I'm not sure.
It's a
you
schedule
texted me or
conflict
called
or
me.
Yeah, we had,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
not
don't
sure
think you were
what
there. You were in town when they had you scheduled. 'cause
Yeah, I wasn't. I
Yeah.
was, when you texted me, I was in, I forget if I was in Chicago or Texas, but I was somewhere west.
Mhm, mhm. No problem.
So I'm not sure what happened, so I apologize. And I think it took a while to get our schedules all lined back up, but I received a letter from you all that you were kind enough to forward to me from Charleston back maybe November, does that seem like right?
Yeah, end of
October,
last year,
November, it was the, I remember when I went there, it was a cold fall day when I went to Charleston. Anyhow, they had sent you a letter, asking about how they would withdraw, and so, I thought that would be a simple answer. It turns out it wasn't quite a simple answer, but, we have done all the legal research so that you all don't necessarily have to. And I'll walk you through this letter. By the way, I'm gonna take this identical letter to Charleston on whenever their next meeting is, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
I forget. So I'm on their calendar as well. I was tempted to send it to them directly, but I thought, first of all, out of respect for you all, since you made me aware of it, although I did go see Charleston after you made me aware of it as well.
Yeah.
So I told them the same thing, that I would figure this out and we'll give them a path. So ultimately what we found, well, I'll kind of bring you up to date. This was balloted in November of 2000, countywide aggregation for natural gas and electricity. They were balloted, two separate issues in all the townships, all at the same time. They passed in every township about, I think the smallest was about 65-35, but on average it was over 70% approval from voters at the time. We just went back and re-looked that up, which took some doing from Board of Elections records, but we found them in the Columbus Board of Elections records. So they do exist still. And I now have copies if you want them. All right, so we did a little look, and there have been a couple instances where townships did withdraw from county aggregations, and it's not, the law doesn't speak to it. There's nothing in the revised code that we could find, and there's nothing in the administrative code that we could find. There are the two examples that we found. Orange Township and Montgomery Township in Ashland County were among those. We've listed them here. They followed a process that is the similar process for the way someone would leave a fire district or a sewer district or something like that, a township would leave. So that's what we're suggesting be followed. If you go to the top of the second page, I'll kind of walk you through the process. Every community, including Portage County, when they join NOPEC, has to pass an ordinance or a resolution to accept the Plan of Operation and Governments and the Council of Governments Agreement. So there is a notification requirement there, so that if folks are leaving, and I tell people all the time, it's not a prison that we operate, so people can come and go at will. We've had a couple folks that have left over the years. Maybe Twinsburg Township left and then came back. One of the suburbs in Cleveland left and came back, and we've had a couple others leave over the years and not come back. I think it's probably 4 or 5 total in 25 years. And so the notion on the notice isn't so that we charge you money, although there's a fee structure. The point of the notice is so that we're not buying things for people who aren't going to use them, and then everybody else who stays has to eat that cost. So we buy as much as a year in advance for portions of our load, but we think that's unreasonable. So the Council of Governments Agreement has a 6-month notice requirement, and then there's no fees regardless of whether we bought ahead or not. So in Charleston's case, even if they left ahead of the 6 months, and I'll tell them this too, it's probably not a lot of money because there's not a whole lot of people there, right? So our goal isn't to take anybody's money, but if they gave us the notification that we've outlined here, there'd be no fee anyhow. So, and which is what I'll tell them, and we'll let that be their choice, right? So the agreement says that you have to notify 6 months ahead of the anniversary term, and that anniversary term is June 1st, 2026. So that's when it ends. We'll be doing a new opt-out, and there'll be a new thing that starts before then for electric. So their folks are already in. I'll come to, at the end of this, I'll walk you through what I think the price differential is, which may have some impact in their opinions, I don't know. So assuming that we do that, I've suggested in this letter that they notify you guys at least 7 months ahead of that, because you officially have to take the action to let them out. That's what the others have done, okay? So that's item 2 down here. The Board of Commissioners would then need to pass an accompanying resolution to acknowledge. Our guys are happy to draft that for you if Charleston really does want to move forward, and you'd like a draft for the county prosecutor to respond to, just let me know, and my guys will draft it, and then the county can do with it what they will.
Yeah.
They'll take some of the prep time out, right?
Okay.
So, and we've suggested then that they do notify you at least a month ahead of that 6-month deadline, so you have a month to do what you have to do, get it to us by the 6-month deadline. Item 3, Charleston would then be on its own for periods after that effective date, which would be post June 1st, 2025. I'm sorry, 2026. We also are recommending in the bottom paragraph on page 2 that Charleston should get its own legal opinion about whether the township will need to put the aggregation ballot issue up to vote again if they wanted to do it. The other folks that withdrew, we could find no evidence that they continued to do on their own, except for I think one of the townships balloted it because it was unclear. The other one just didn't do it. So there's no real case law around it, so we don't know what to tell you. Prosecutors will have to give them their opinion. If they wanted to do it, they'll have to rely on whatever Vic and his people tell them. Right? On the last page, I just wanted to point out at the top of that paragraph, and I'll point this out to them as well. If Charleston decided not to aggregate their electric load, then their residents would simply be placed back into the standard service offer that is provided by in the case of Charleston Township, Ohio Edison, so every incumbent utility has to create a safety net called the standard service offer for electricity, or a price to compare for natural gas. The SSO price currently is 9.29 cents. NOPEC's current price is 6.449 cents, right? So that's about 43% differential, and I'll point that out to them. So it's probably better, if they do want to ultimately leave and they're not going to aggregate on their own, it's probably beneficial to their residents to let them stay there through the term and provide the notice that we've outlined here. And then that SSO price changes every year, and so it may be different next year. They've just proposed changing the process by which it is set. It's been a 3-year rolling bid process because of what happened in the invasion of Ukraine and the way the markets kind of flipped upside down there, suggesting in their new rate case a plan that is 2 years as opposed to 3 years. So that's an auction cycle that happens in the forward markets. They have not yet done an auction for any part of 26, but they've done the 25 auction. We know what those prices are through the first part of 25. So that's the story on that. I'm sorry that it took so long for our schedules to line. I'm also surprised it took that long to find the answer. I thought it would be much easier, but both us and our Cleveland and Columbus law firm that we use is Bricker Graydon. And they really spent a bunch of time. They had a bunch of conversations with the PUCO people to find out what their inkling was on this, and they're like, well, we don't know, but like us, we think that everybody should be out. But this is the first time someone who was in a county ag asked us. We have county ags in Ashtabula, Lake, Portage, and Mahoney.
So if they choose to leave, and then a year later they choose to come back, is any big deal? Or do they have to
No,
put it
they
back
can
on
do
a
it.
ballot?
I think I'd have to ask that question. They probably have to ballot it again. I think once they withdraw, they couldn't subject current county residents to a vote that happened and then was made nil.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the law would require them to reballot it. But people reballot those things all the time.
But they don't have to ballot to get out.
They do not have to ballot to get out.
Okay.
What prompted this, Chuck? What, do we know?
That's a good question. I will tell you what they told me when I was there. At least the president of their board, his opinion was that this is something that people should be able to do on their own, and he didn't really want governments to do it. They were very kind and nice and said, we don't think it has anything to do with the service. We like you guys. We've enjoyed what we've gotten from you. We just think this should be something that the government's not involved in. And that's what they told me. So I was a little surprised. I think our record is generally pretty good. I think we've saved people more than not. It is a challenging area to be in, as you all know, and we've certainly tried to focus ourselves on being service-oriented for townships, for counties, for villages, for cities, and think that we probably have best-in-class programming in all of those areas.
So Chuck,
I
do you
will tell you
know-
that they have used their grants over the years.
Mhm.
They've
I was just
taken
gonna
them on.
ask you,
Yeah, they've
yeah.
taken everything that we've offered. They just got a change in leadership, and that leadership said, we don't think the government ought to do this. So they've had a little while to think about it. I did send a couple of correspondences just so they knew that it was taking longer and I wasn't ignoring them, but and I think they were grateful for that. And I will see them, I forget if it's Monday or Tuesday. I think they meet on Mondays.
Mondays.
I think Monday.
So I'll be there Monday night, and we'll pass that on, and we'll see what they say then. I mean, they haven't officially notified you. Well, they did kind of notify you.
They just told
Tell
us
us
they
how
went
to get
but
out.
Yeah,
So now we know how to get out, so we'll see what they want to do.
yeah. How are the grants that NOPEC typically gives in the county and other, how does that work? I mean, for them backing out, or they lose a whole bunch of money by grants, or
We calculate the grants every year based on enrollment. Let me start at the beginning. Grants do not affect pricing. We have people sometimes say, just don't give me the grant, just lower the price, right? Well, that's not really how it worked. When I negotiated these contracts, which now go back probably 13 years, 12 years, I did a bunch of research before I sat down at the negotiating table, and I realized that there was a certain amount of money that a for-profit energy company would spend to identify a customer, a certain amount of money to sign that customer, and a certain amount of money to keep it. And there are national and regional averages. So I said, when I sat down to negotiate that contract and every contract since, isn't it your lucky day, Mr. or Mrs. Energy Executive? You don't have to do A, B, or C. I'll do that. But I don't think it's fair that your shareholders get to keep all that money. My shareholders, you guys, and the townships and the villages and cities, they'd like a portion of that. And then my job is to negotiate as much of that as I can get. And right now, it's about $4.2 million a year that I get to keep from that. We have 900 and, as of this morning, 906,000 customers in our book of business. And that's valuable to those energy companies who don't have to do anything except provide the commodity. And so we share, cost share, and that's how we get it. So the grants, there's no clawback provisions in the grants. If you were there on the date that it was calculated, you get the dollars. Once you provide an official notice, then that changes per the Council of Government Agreement. You're not a member in good standing. And so you wouldn't get future disbursements, right? But if your customers and your village residents, your township residents, if they're receiving services from NOPEC, then that government is entitled to the same benefits we provide everybody. And that's what we would do. And that's what we would have done with Charleston. They did fill out their 2024 grant paperwork. It's on file. I didn't think to check our community sponsorship program. We have a sponsorship program as well where over the years when I first arrived so long ago there now, people would say, hey, would you sponsor our home days? Or we're having the courthouse is doing something. And we would say yes. And after a while I said, it's not really fair. If you think to ask or you know somebody and you ask, that you get a yes and everybody else gets a no. So we give about $300,000 a year, again, based on a formula. And that is out of NOPEC's operating revenue. No one pays for that. We do get a fee like everybody else. That's how we keep our doors open, right? But, and I didn't check whether Charleston did that this year, but they have done it in the past. They typically used it for their Memorial Day or their, there's another thing that they have like a home day with there too. So they've used it for one of those two events typically. But I didn't think to check that. My guess is that they probably used it. Other thoughts, questions?
I don't have any other questions.
All right.
That was my big one, I got nothing else.
What's that?
That was my big question, I
Yeah.
got nothing else.
Oh, perfect.
Nope, I'm good.
Good. I'm a phone call away if you all need
So
me.
thank you for coming in today. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. I love coming to this building because it reminds me of coming home, right?
How many years were you here, Chuck?
I was 4 months shy of 18 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I had to get rid of the carpet. I just couldn't match my taste anymore.
And you just got rid of it too.
I did.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't get the
I had
carpet
it in
until 2
14
years
and I
before
kept
I
it
left.
till 10 years.
And Janet made a big hubbub when I got a desk.
Can't imagine.
I had literally a World War II surplus desk that the drawers wouldn't open on, and after 12 years, I said, God darn it, I am having a desk, and I bought a desk, and you would have think that I burnt the building down or something, but
Oh,
Can imagine.
that was the former county auditor. So I was pleased to have a desk with drawers that worked for the
Yeah.
last 4 years I was
There
here.
you
Made-
Well,
made
I'm
me
getting
very
a new
happy.
desk too because my drawer doesn't work. It
There you
has
go.
Thanks a
Only
lot.
one drawer
Hey.
doesn't work.
Thanks a lot.
Stuff wears out. I had a credenza. This is one of my favorite
Oh,
stories.
don't
about
talk
working
about more furniture.
I had a credenza the whole time that didn't open until I got the new desk, and so I sent Tim Miller was still the head of maintenance here, and we took the credenza down to the shop and cut the back out. cut the back out of the cadenza that had never opened, right? And we found all of the county's working papers from the construction of the Ravenna Arsenal.
Wow.
And so we
Wow.
donated them to the Historical
Historical.
Society, which is, I don't know what they did with them, but it was like amazing. It was all of the.
It sat in your desk for 10
It
years.
sat there for
50 years.
12, 13 years, and probably sat there for 40 years before I got that thing, right? And no one opened it, no one could figure it out, and I said to him, cut the back out, I'm dying to know what's in it, because I could tell it was heavy. And that's what was in there, all of those papers. So, it had condemnation, and farm flood claims, and all of the other stuff that happened when they routed that, changed the dirt patterns, and the farms next door got wet, and people were claiming the government was paying, and all of that stuff was in there.
Wow.
And I had no idea that any of that happened, so it was kind of fun, right, in a weird way. I'm taking up too much time.
No, that's right.
Thank you very much,
Appreciate
great
your
to see
time.
Hey,
you.
good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir, great to see you.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna walk around the rest of the building a little bit today.
All right,
Go
enjoy.
for it.
We'll see you later.
I got
I'm
candy
gonna-
in my office.
I'm gonna finish the resolutions.
Yes, please.
Under miscellaneous. Flip to the next page.
Yep, I gotcha.
All right. I'll make a motion authorizing the issuance of a county procurement cards to be held in the name of the Portage County Human Resources Department and also being issued in the name of Director Tammy Soltis to be used for work-related expenses in accordance with section 301.29 of the Ohio Revised Code and the Portage County Procurement Card Policy for Fund 0018.
Second,
Roll call.
Yes.
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 I'll make a motion authorizing the issuance of county procurement cards to be held in the name of Portage County Human Resources and also being issued in the name of Benefits and Leave Administrator Laura Susan Frank to be used for work-related expenses in accordance with section 301.29 of the Ohio Revised Code and the Portage County Procurement Card Policy for Fund 7101.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina? Yes. Mike?
yes.
Jenny?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to amend resolution number 24-0332, authorizing the issuance of county procurement card to be held in the name of Portage County Board of Commissioners and also being issued in the name of county administrator to be used for work-related expenses in accordance with section 301.29 of the Ohio Revised Code and the Portage County Procurement Card Policy for Fund 001 and Fund 010 to correct fund number to be Fund 001.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina? Yes. Mike?
yes.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to amend resolution number 24-0352, authorizing the issuance of county procurement card to be held in the name of Portage County Solid Waste Management District and also being issued in the name of Solid Waste Director to be used for work-related expenses in accordance with section 301.29 of the Ohio Revised Code and the Portage County Procurement Card Policy for Fund 830 to correct fund number to be Fund 8300.
I'll second,
Roll call.
Sabrina? Yes. Mike?
yes.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to encumber funds from sales and use tax to be used for the Portage County Sheriff's Office for ammunitions and munitions.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina? Yes. Mike?
yes.
Yes.
Dan?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
You can bring your extra chair forward if you'd like.
Well, I'll come up first anyway. There's one issue I'd like to talk about
Okay.
first, and then we'll bring them in. Okay, morning,
Morning.
Commissioners.
Morning.
I just kind of wanted to bring up the Ohio Turnpike Commission, the Brady's Leap Service Plaza.
Yeah.
Last year in August, they had a water break, I guess a fairly substantial one.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
the
saw.
way they're set up is that water, flows through our meter pit, and we registered and saw the water be used, but their claim is that that water was lost to the ground, and that any water that they're basically asking for a credit for that amount of water that was lost in that break because it didn't flow through our collection system and it wasn't treated by our water treatment plant. So we have our data isn't the best. We're having some issues with the metering out there, which we're gonna rectify now that we're aware of it. But for now, I did come up with a methodology to try and figure out just how much water was lost, and it was based off of their past usage. So that's where I came up with the number. And it looks like it's about a credit if we decided to move in that direction of about $13,373 worth of sewer credit off of their bill.
Have we done this in the past?
We have done this
Yeah,
once in the
okay.
past. best, yes. I'd like to try and get a metering system in the future that will alert us to high usage
So
so that we can notify them, hey, there's something going on
Sooner.
here, you might wanna look into this, because, you know, issues like these are definitely a problem, I think, both for us, it puts stress on our system, and then on their end, they're not even aware that it's happening, sometimes maybe for days before they realize there's an issue, so.
That was my question. How long did this go before we realized? They realized.
Yeah, probably quite some time. Yeah, I'm guessing this was probably a week-long
Oh, wow.
event.
So just when they got their bill, they said, "Oops, this is crazy."
I think either that or they stumbled on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either they stumbled, you know, somebody looked and saw a big pile of water sitting at the side of, you know, they have a long stretch between their actual service plaza and they have a maintenance garage.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's a mile or two away.
Ooh.
So there's a water line that runs between those two things, and somewhere along that line it broke.
Didn't they put that in themselves?
They did, and we weren't aware
That's
of
what I
that. Yeah, that was, and again, not a great setup.
Great setup by. could the
From
Turnpike
their
put it in?
perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
They put it in after the fact, and we were unaware of that. It is a private line, but again, I would just wanna make sure moving forward in the future that we have a way of monitoring
And
this.
metering it.
So
Sure.
there is definitely a plan for it.
Okay.
All right, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. And then, yeah, we'll bring in David and
All right.
John.
Here they come.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
You guys are having a really good time with this. You slide that way, yeah, he's right behind you. So have you seen the correspondence that we've got from the Chen Association, I guess that would be?
The folder,
Fol-
yeah.
The folder?
Yeah, all those were forwarded.
Okay.
It's the letters from the residents for their appeal.
30 some odd letters, yes.
Yep. There's only 30? I thought there were more, I just seemed like
There's
sad.
also a
Yeah.
group.
One letter that
One
has
of
One of
multiple
the letter has,
pages of
yes, a larger
signatures.
group attached to it. So in essence, there's probably up towards 100 letters that we're
Okay.
looking at to respond back.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, you're up, gentlemen.
All right, well, I guess we received all of our complaints, the issues of concern. You know, we went ahead and submitted this to the prosecutor's office. David took a look at them, each individually, and has drafted a letter here that kind of touches on all of the issues at hand. I do want to point out, and I know that this was an area of concern, the way that these are set up right now is such that each person will have their individual name and address on the letter itself.
Okay, perfect.
But this letter is, you know, kind of encompassing all of the issues, you know, into, you know, a single letter that, you know, everybody will receive
So they'll basically get like a standard letter that is a response to the overall.
to all of the issues that we're having.
Yeah, the primary purpose of this document is to notify the folks who submitted objections or endorsements
Mhm.
to the project, to notify them of an upcoming consideration by you of a resolution, an improvement resolution to go forward with the project.
So how does that work, David, with many of them saying they have non-buildable lots? So you just captured it as a general letter versus individually responding to each?
Let me get to that. So the primary purpose of this document is to let them know that this hearing is coming up, and there's a couple of statutory things that they need to be made aware of. They have a right to appeal that decision, and there's a process for them to do that. And so the notion was to take the opportunity of notifying them by this letter to also correct some, maybe some general misunderstandings or common points that may be were reflected in the correspondence that we received that could maybe be brought around to provide more information that could be helpful to these residents. Understanding that we did receive a number of these objections, and a lot of them were similar in tenor to the public hearing that you all experienced, and
That's a good word.
Yeah, I was wondering what to use, but that is good.
and so well, it could be a possibility of responding to each of them. It would be similar in experience to that. Getting to the lots which currently have no structures on them.
And cannot have any structures put on them.
So the way that this area was approached initially by our consultant and was
Yeah.
reviewed by the team was to not make a determination of whether something will be built on, except in some fringe cases where maybe there's a little triangle or a strip of land that nothing's ever going to go
Blatantly
there.
noticeable that you can't build on it.
Right.
So, I mean, small, unique parcels.
3 foot by
Those
50
have been
feet.
all excluded,
So
as
those have-
part of the methodology.
Those have been excluded.
Okay.
A lot of the lots that currently have nothing built on them, in relation to the lots that do have buildings on them in this subdivision, that wasn't planned to have this sewer project, right? They're all getting an appreciable benefit from the sewer system in the form of a safe and healthy sewer conveyance method that will help clean up this area, and so the notion is that they are getting the present benefit whether there's a structure
So they're
or
gonna
not.
have to pay the same fee as for a vacant lot as the lot with the house or improvements on it. So, cause there was conversation that, well, I'll give you an example, Judge Rubik, she has 2 duplexes there, and on each end, there's 2 lots, but they're flooded all the time. And so she had requested that those lots be waived from the benefit user component, because you can't do anything with it. So if I'm hearing correctly, you're saying those would not be excluded from the benefit use fee. They would still pay for
That
those lots.
is the notion that they are being presently benefited by the construction of the sewer system, whether or not so questions of whether use can be made of the property, and whether and I don't recall specifically whether the Rubiks requested a deferment or not. Questions of whether there is
Yeah, because that's gonna cause us a lot of grief. So a workaround to that would be if they got the 2 parcels, the one with the structure on it and the one that's flooded that they can't do anything with, if they replatted it and combined it into 1 parcel, is that correct? Then they could just pay 1 benefit user?
And we acknowledge that in the letter, there's a category with that.
Okay,
So a lot of these objections were
Yeah.
surrounding that topic of if I wanted to proceed with combining lots together.
yeah, cause that
We
makes
don't-
no sense to.
I guess our reasoning is
Yeah.
we can't stop that or don't wanna give any guidance on that, but it
Yeah.
appears to be that that could be a due process that somebody
That they
could complete.
could
That would
do.
work for that.
Cause I have a friend that has a corner lot, so he has 3 lots. He has one that his house is on, faces Rose, I think it is, and then I forget the street, Rose Lawn that goes on the side. He has like a gap in between, which is a lot, and then on the back lot, he has a garage. And it was presented to him that he would have to pay 3, that he could combine those 3 lots into one, cause he's never gonna be able to do anything in between the garage and the house, so he could replat those and make it one parcel versus 3.
So we touch on that in the letter.
Okay.
The one concept I just wanted to mention, I know, there have been several examples in the letters that my lot is not buildable. But I think that's a very, fine line to, and over above us to try to make that judgment. I mean, for example, all vacant lots, I mean, the owners could have the premonition that, you know, my lot's not buildable. Whether that's legitimate or not, I guess our reasoning is try to not decide that in this project.
Yeah.
That the general benefit of the sewer system is there. You know,
But
people always have thoughts about what their property represents, whether that's an accurate depiction or not, I don't know.
Is there anything when we do that and I say, hey, this isn't lot big enough, and 20 years down the line, somebody says, oh yeah, it really is big enough. Is there anything that's put in somebody's deed that says that lot will never be built? I mean, if we're gonna get the opportunity to say, I can't build anything there and I'd like to change my deed or plat, that therefore, once you change that you don't have to pay, is there anything to put in somebody's deed that says, no, that lot is never be buildable?
I think that's a challenge anyways moving forward. And that's part of this that goes together with that. I'll give you an example. So the zoning restrictions or requirements in the area are 80 foot on right-of-way width. There are numerous lots, for example, that are 72, 77 foot. So that's some of the reasoning anyways with it. My vacant lot doesn't meet the zoning code,
Right.
there I should be denied. Now, whether that lot could get a variance and build a house on it, there's probably a good chance, depending on the situation of that. Again, we think it's above and beyond for us to try
The
to go
scope.
and make that determination anyways
Yeah.
on those lots, because there's a mix of variable type, I guess, features of each individual lot that would be a huge challenge to try to
Yeah, to try
judge
to
that
manipulate
anyways at
each
this point for
individual.
this project.
The last question I had is one of the letters that was there. You know, the EPA, nobody showed up, we know, for that meeting except us.
The health
right?
department
Health
or
Department,
the
yep,
EPA.
EPA. So now people are saying, well, EPA, if they're saying that, where's the report? Tell us what you found that, I mean, from my understanding, this has been going on for 60, 70 years that people wanted to do that. I think it's pretty cool that we're doing it now, but I truly believe, and I think our other commissioners would agree, that not having the health department or EPA there would have saved you a few gray hairs. You too, because there was nobody there to answer the questions that they all
And I
had.
understand their side of it because they feel that
Yeah.
they went through the administration process. This is what the ruling is. There's really no reason to talk about it. But I understand at the meeting, everybody in the room doesn't feel that way.
Yeah. So have they provided you with a report that says these are the numbers that why we're saying this must be done now?
So the health department did a formal nuisance complaint, and it has a lot of detail in there. For example, the number of septics that they investigated and found non-conforming, the ones they couldn't find. I mean, there's actual numbers with some technical things in there. And then, of course, the testing. You know, they tested at 15 locations throughout the project site,
Random,
what they
yeah.
found and all that data and stuff. That's part of their report. And the EPA has, you know, reviewed all that. They actually did some testing themselves anyways also to, you know, try to confirm the things that the health department is reasoning with.
Is that report available to the people in chat?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mike?
But that would be available via the health department.
Yes.
We don't have
You
that.
don't have it,
Yeah.
so
I
so
was
they
gonna
would
say.
request the health
Yeah,
department.
we had to notice that, you know, we had to move forward with this project. And we do have that available if anybody requests it. And I think we even supplied that to the media,
Mhm.
several media sources. As far as the actual report, though, I
Order,
think
yeah, that went to
probably
the
would-
health department.
Gotcha.
I would think.
Right. Thank you.
And just one final thing, just speaking with David, I think this last hearing, it was a kind of the prelude before we finalize and say, yes, we're moving forward with this project, it's
Mhm.
going to bid, it's going to construction. A lot of these individual cases, they're arguing their individual points rather than the
The whole.
overall concept of whether or not this project is going to bid or
Yeah.
not. So, I think there are additional opportunities for them to make individual requests for deferment due to their own specific situation.
Right.
And those will cross as we get further down the line. So I think a lot of this is, this is the step we're at now. We're at the step now where we're deciding, hey, we'd like to take this to bid. This is where we're going with this, and we're looking for your approval. So that hearing really was to address any of those concerns, any concerns that would stop this process of us going and taking the
Who would make that decision, whether deferments and stuff? Would that be legal or would that be water?
It would be you folks.
Nice.
There are a couple of things that you can consider. Includes value of the property, use of the property, different aspects of
And that would be on an individual basis, David?
request, and it's on an individual basis. There are a few of those that were included. A lot of people were confusing the concept of deferment with waivers or exemptions.
Mhm.
A deferment would be up to 75% of the assessment, and would be for so long as the exceptional circumstances, whatever they may be, exist. And so once those are over, they would start to pay
Yeah.
the assessment.
And I think the other issue is the more properties that would not be included only increases the
Overall price for everybody.
Because that figure you
Yeah.
had was based on all those properties.
255
Included 255.
benefit units.
Mr.
Some
Tillman?
have multiple benefit
Yeah.
units, but that's the total benefit units.
But we're fairly off from the final assessment process, I guess, is the idea of what that final assessment would be. We're quite some way down the road.
Yeah, obviously, if we have, 20 benefit users finally be exempt, that's gonna have an impact on
On
the
the whole.
235 remaining.
Well, yeah.
Mr. Tillman?
I'm gonna try to shorten this up the best I can. And I'm not really sure which direction to go, but I'm gonna start with the hearing. Very disappointed in the acceptance and the way that the residents took this. When I left there, since that point up into including Saturday, this past Saturday, I've received 11 calls from residents in regards to this. As the meeting went on, it more and more made us out to be the bad guys. We are greedy and we wanted money and that's all we care about, and that's the furthest from the truth. And in my opinion, quite frankly, we probably shouldn't have even been there. And the reason I'm saying that, Counselor, is this. We're the end result on passing this, correct? So we went as courtesy and presented and listened. And I know when people get upset, words fly out and the true meaning that they're trying to say stays behind. But we weren't the good guys that day. None of us up here were. And I don't get it. We're the enforcers of infractions and we're the enforcers of what the Ohio law says. Now, the health department, who has been working on this for years now, along with the EPA, and you guys can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm telling you my feeling. And the EPA have made a ruling. This has to happen. And it's for the health and wellness of the people who live there. I get it. I've read the law. I know what it says. But when I contacted, which I did through an email, our health department, their answer, we weren't required to be there. Huh.
Convenient.
Only thing I can say is, huh. Because we're there to help the residents through this, trying to find the money, trying to do the grants, doing what we did last week. But supposedly, we're getting money out of this somehow because we're the bad guys. Well, that's farthest from the truth. And these people that I spoke to, I got an email 2 weeks ago Saturday, wanted me to attend a meeting of 28 people. I'm sure you guys got it too.
Yeah, we did.
And
I thought you were gonna go.
No.
So I didn't.
and I sent them back my schedule's full, sorry, and it was. But I just don't understand that this has been going on for so long. Some of the calls that I've gotten have been, well, Joe down the street has repaired and done things that he probably shouldn't have done. And that's a lot to create a problem. So a lot of problems, a lot of finger pointing, a lot of this. I'm just saying it's a health and safety to our county. It came to us through the EPA under Ohio law. We have to do what we have to do. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, and you know what, I also have received a lot of calls, and I remind them, I'm like, look, this started from your neighbors. Your neighbors started calling the health department. And like I said, who wants their kid to be playing outside, running through raw sewage, unprocessed sewage, and the samples, the E. coli was so high. I mean, no one does, but now everyone's mad because now something is actually being done. And it's sort of sad because everyone's like, well, we don't have the money, we're on fixed incomes. And I said, and I can understand that, but this, in the long term, will add value. And we are continuing looking for grants to offset. And I recently brought up how you found another $500,000 that'll reduce each one by $2,000.
Thanks to the
And I
commissioners.
said, we are continuing to look at ways, but understand, this is not something we went looking for or we pursued. I said, this is something that is brought on us by an order from the EPA. And so, I mean, and like I said, in all fairness, they were made aware of this in 2019, but I think because of government, the way in the design, they were told then it would take 2 years to design that. And then when the design came back, I reminded them, because a lot of them didn't know, when Alan was here, he said the design had each of them paying $40,000. So by going back to the drawing board, getting a new design, having ARPA money and other grant opportunities, we were able to narrow that down to like 20 to 24,000, including everything. And so they started like, we get it, but we're not happy. And I said, in the long run, it really adds a lot of value because there's a lot of nice houses in that development. So that's all I got.
I just wanted to mention, so the meeting that we had 6 years ago, we did discuss extensively about the health
Yes.
and septic details, so that was discussed then.
I was-
But if you didn't attend that meeting, or if you're a new resident within those 6 years,
Yeah.
or you didn't take advantage to show up to the meeting, you didn't get to hear all that, so I think that was some of the reason too. We've been through that already.
Mhm.
We're not spending time talking about it all. I think that's some of the reasoning anyways from the health department.
And let me tell you, this has been out there since 2019. My brother lives in there because he's on like the Myers compound there. And my mother was looking to buy a house. There was 3 houses on Woodlawn. Those things sold like that. It has not impacted their values as far as resale goes.
All right, anything else, David?
So the preview is, I think the folks from Water Resources will be working with
Okay.
your clerk to
Yep.
determine what date it will be that you'll consider resolution, an improvement resolution to go forward with the project.
Yeah.
The folks who, the 100 or so folks who submitted their objections or endorsements will get notice of when that will happen, as well as some of their, the statutory language that they need to be informed
David,
of.
can we get a copy of the letter that's gonna go out, because we'll start
Beforehand.
getting calls, yeah.
It's included in your
Packet.
packet.
And is it? Yeah, I
Yes.
saw that.
And so
I
I
should
don't,
hope.
I don't know whether those folks will show up or not.
Usually angry people do show up.
So just the preview there, if the board does on that day decide to go forward with the project, folks will have the opportunity to appeal the certain aspects of that to the probate court. They cannot appeal the necessity of the project because it's under the statute, because it's an EPA order. It's
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. They're they'll be getting the sewer project, but they can appeal for individually whether they should be in the assessment district, as well as the amount that they're allocated for that
All
assessment.
right, thank you. Anything else?
One last final quick thing.
Go ahead,
I've got some feedback from the EPA. I think they're really gonna, they've already started an initiative. I think they're gonna find some money to allocate for the private lateral costs.
Excellent.
So we got a few years for
That'd
that
be
to
nice.
happen, but I think they've started already on it.
Beautiful,
good.
beautiful, okay. So
And I
that's
don't
good to be able
wanna
to.
advertise and commit to that and get everybody hopeful,
Yeah,
but I
there's
think.
Well, you're on
possibility.
public record, John.
I just said
I'm
it.
just saying.
I'm gonna make some calls, John.
But I will give the
So,
state credit. I mean, both the Ohio EPA and the state, the governor has contributed a substantial amount of funding for this project. 4.5 million from the Ohio EPA, and just recently that $1 million grant we got from that H2O fund. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they are aware of the hardship that it's causing, and I think they're trying to send as much our way as possible to reduce those costs.
That's the thing everybody needs to know and hear often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pardon? Say again? Oh, you-
Oh.
Okay. I'll make a motion. The Board of Commissioners agrees to grant the Ohio Turnpike Commission a sewer deduction credit of $13,373.63 due to a service leak at Brady's Leap Service Plaza.
Second,
Roll call.
Sabrina? Yes. Mike?
yes.
Kelly?
Yes. All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Appreciate it.
If we could take a 5-minute recess. For
Sure.
water break. and we'll come out of recess to the
Now I'm-
Board of Commissioners. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Morning, Kelly Jo.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I am gonna start out my open agenda with the April-May Job and Family Services data report. In the public assistance area, I'm not seeing anything that I wanna share with you that shows a significant shift or change in our numbers. Relevant to our Benefit Bridge program, that's over at the Ohio Means Jobs Center. We continue to strengthen that program. We have 63 individuals enrolled in that program, and the success, we continue to be amazed at the success. I know at the NOCOG meeting yesterday, they shared
Yeah.
a success story, so I'm gonna piggyback and share the same one. We have a lady that entered our program in June of 2023. She struggled at that time with substance abuse. She moved into a sober living facility. Through the help and support of many providers, including the Benefit Bridge, she got full-time employment at a country club. She started to work on financial literacy, received an automobile, and continues to thrive off of public assistance and maintaining sobriety. So lots of good stuff in that program and in the community wraparounds. As it relates to other areas, Child and Adult Protective Services, as of Monday, we had 151 kiddos in custody, and that's phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah, so
The
while
numbers are down.
Great
Going in the
numbers.
right direction.
great numbers of kids going down, our placement costs continue to skyrocket for the kiddos with the highest needs, and I'll talk a little bit about that when I get to the resolution. But other than that, I didn't see significant changes unless you had some questions on the data report.
All right. Nope.
Good. Okay, you have a for discussion only contract in front of you. We always move through, Shannon and the back end when we move them formally forward, but this is just to introduce a new program. We, our Judge Smith ordered a family to participate in a parenting program in Stark County. And in our interactions with them, we really loved the model and said, hey, what would it look like if you brought some of these services to Portage? And had a couple of meetings, and what they can offer us is in-home parenting program to start with. And they would hire a part-time person. That individual would be tagged with families, and they would do parenting classes and kind of live stuff in homes with families with kids. So we'd like to move forward with this agreement. It's $42,000 for a 12-month span. We do have the funds to sustain that at this time, and we think it's really important for kids and families as we work towards.
What does it cost us to send families to another county to do that?
Right now, I don't know the exact cost for, we only have one family that's
Oh,
there
okay.
now. It was just the one situation. We are transporting them there, so we're paying transports though on a
So you
daily.
transport and pay for the class.
Yeah, so in this model, they'd come,
To their
we would
home.
give them like a satellite location in one of our offices here, and they could use that as a base and then go into the home. So we like this kind of as a newer program first, because again, you get to see families and kids in their lived experience.
Yeah.
How many hours is that program? Do they come back?
Two days a week, and then it would be 8-hour days, so it'd be 16 hours, 2 days a week that someone would be committed to working with families, and multiple
For how
families,
long?
not just one. Well, the contract would say for a year. Oh, as far.
No, yeah, so if you're coming in my house to teach me how to parent,
I think that they would provide certification, and when they deem that it's good for them to move out. Now, there's sometimes that families might not be able to make progress, and in that space, that's when we might need to make different decisions on whether to transition kids there or to transition kids out of there. So I think that would be case by case.
Right, thank you.
Good?
Yep.
So you will see that in the future, hopefully, I believe it's gonna be very successful. Before you have a resolution of necessity. In March, I was overzealous and I presented it to you too soon, and so I had to resend it. But now we're ready to proceed. This is for Child Protective Services. This is the necessity resolution, and contingent on you supporting it, I will come back in a few weeks with some details so we can get a ballot number and move forward. We have 3 levies, and they all originated in the 90s. So up to this point, we've always had just renewals.
Mhm.
So 2 of these we want to merge, the .49 and the .75 to total 1.24, which is what they do, but the increase correlates to the new valuations of houses. So this merging these and increasing these, while they're the same millage-wise, will generate
More
additional funds. So I don't have the details, but right now the 2 levies generate about 2.5 million in our levy fund. So when we looked at it in March, it would generate probably another $2 million. But of course, we'll be fully transparent to our voters to ensure they know what the cost would be. And at the end of the day, they would have to vote to move it forward or not. But
Is that wise that they look non-threatening apart from each other, but sometimes when you see that number go to that,
is it wise? It's
Yeah.
necessary, and I believe in our
Why is it
Portage
necessary?
County residents. First and foremost, the placement costs have profoundly increased. So when I looked at 2022, our average per month that we were paying for placement costs, foster care, group homes, residential, was $330,000 a month. Right now, our average is $464,000 a month. So if you take that 130 times 12, we've increased 1.5 million in taking care of kids in placement since that. So our funds haven't increased from the state. Our levy has stayed stagnant, but our costs for meeting those special needs.
I get that, and
Yeah.
you've the levy has been passed individually.
Correct.
So when I pass a .49, a .75, they seem very mundane, and then instead of, you're gonna put those together, and I think sometimes, the question is why are we putting them together?
We were not able to, we're able to increase, but I think it just makes sense. Why have 3 separate levies? We've done it and added them over time to meet the needs.
I'm just asking about the voter.
Yeah, we're gonna be committed to going out to the voters and being accountable and transparent and explaining why.
Okay.
But we definitely can communicate to them what the changes have been in our system and child welfare. And to that, we've also added lots of support services for families and kids over the last 2 years. We now have a committed driver at JFS just for child protective services to get kids and families to visits.
Those points I get.
Yeah,
and-
we've expanded our visitation area.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
the question really is, instead of 2 small ones, you're gonna give me 1 big one. And people cringe when they see 1 big one.
Well, I'm
It's your
hopeful.
choice.
Yes, I'm hoping you support it. I have faith in the residents. I think
Okay.
we've been fully transparent in communicating our challenges, and I'm prayerful that we're gonna move this forward.
And your challenge that you have and the cost of your challenge is just absolutely incredibly high,
Correct.
and we get that. All right, that's the only question I had.
Well, I present it to you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
To see if you are willing to move forward with this
Yep.
resolution this time.
Alright, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution of necessity for replacement of 2 levies to be combined into 1 plate replacement levy, for a total of 1.24 mils for the benefit of Portage County and the purpose of providing funds for the benefit of children's services for the care, placement, and treatment of abused, neglected, and dependent children.
Second?
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
I thank you.
Okay.
And I have a quick executive session.
In accordance with Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1, the Board of Commissioners moves into the executive session to consider the compensation of a public employee.
Second?
Roll call.
Sabrina?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. Jill, we have to ask you to leave, no? Is there any, come out of,
I'll make a motion
Thank you.
to come out of executive session.
Second?
roll call?
Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes. No action.
No action.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Tammy. Thank you, Joe.
Take care. You too.
Is there any public comment as of this moment?
Okay.
You want to have that discussion?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we've been getting emails and stuff regarding the JDC and the exit of Jaga County in the whole process, and now they're wanting to have a special meeting. Did you guys get that yesterday? My opinion is we need to seek outside counsel for this, because I think it's a conflict for our prosecutor's office, who represents Chief Spitaleri at the county, and then they're gonna represent against him as the commissioner. And plus, I think we really need to get someone that has familiarity with a JDC and how you exit a JDC.
Mhm.
As you know, our contract, we've read it, and I think there's a lot of questions to
I
that.
think there are a lot of questions.
And I think for the best interest of Portage County, we need to consider, and I know Judge Smith has indicated that she would like to have outside counsel
Yep.
as well. And I think we need to have that conversation with Vic.
Mhm.
And Tony, are you,
Yep.
as the president, gonna step up?
Yes.
Mike, how do you feel about it?
Well, I'd just like to make a comment.
Mhm.
I too got the information about the meeting, and my response was, I don't even think we're close to being able to sit down
No.
and talk to anyone. You know, it's a bad
It's a
scenario.
process.
Yep,
It's a
and it's a bad
process.
scenario.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you that we need to have a private counsel, and I don't feel that we should be rushed in this at all.
We better
No.
not, no. I agree.
No.
Right, now, I will make an appointment to speak with Vic, about outside counsel. This is too big to walk
Sure.
away and click your heels and be done with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, so, no,
Okay.
absolutely.
So we're all in agreement then?
Agreement
Yes.
of that. Anything else come before the board?
Well, we
We've
still
got
have
3 minutes.
Oh, what is it?
I'm looking
Yeah.
at that clock up there.
We have 4.
4 minutes.
Happy 4th of July, that's coming
Yeah.
up.
Oh, remind people, next week we're meeting on Tuesday, cause the 4th falls on Thursday, so we'll be here at 9:00. Barb, if you wanna come,
I'll be here.
okay,
God willing.
we love to have
And-
you.
The creeks don't rise.
Hopefully they don't. Are you Hungarian?
No, I am not.
Jill, are you Hungarian?
No. Is there a Hungarian holiday?
No,
Tony, are you
no.
Hungarian?
Yes, pardon me. My
My
mother
wife is
was
a
part of
little
it.
bit.
German.
No, so I was, there's a thing, it's a pastry, and the only place I ever saw it is a
Oh,
Hungarian
Lord,
bakery.
Here we go.
And it was called the Sinker, because a block that was a 2x4 block probably weighed about a pound and a half. And it just, yeah, but it was really good, but
Fruitcake.
it close, but it was more of a gel.
Oh,
Instead
I
of a-
never heard of that.
Mike talks about it, but we've never seen it.
I'm
Me
familiar
neither, I
with-
haven't seen it since I was at
I'm
Litterfeld
familiar with many
last
things
year.
Polish, and they have
Mhm.
similar
Mm-hmm,
roots,
just Hungarian, Polish, European, that.
but I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, right.
It's sort of like when you put a shot in a beer.
Yeah, yeah.
My grandfather used to do that on a regular basis,
What's the name
daily,
of
I
a
believe.
Boilermaker.
I don't
Yes.
drink, so I don't know. Garrettsville's Family Days this weekend,
This
and
weekend.
Summerfest.
Summerfest, and
Summerfest, yeah.
Saturday at noon, they're opening up the 100-year time capsule.
Oh, yes.
And being born and raised there, my family had a business there.
Oh,
Kinda,
Garrettsville?
yes, I'm kinda
I
curious.
Grew up in Nelson, went to school in Garrettsville.
Okay. So I'm kinda curious as to what may
Yeah,
be in there.
That'd be
Time
pretty cool.
capsules are always interesting.
And their parade
And
is
they're
Sunday.
creating a new one to put in.
Yes, they are, yeah.
Well, that would be.
I
that would
took
be
a
good.
photo of me and they threw it in the garbage. They said, no.
This
Set fire
came out
burn.
of time capsule.
They set fire to it.
No, why you gotta be so violent?
No, it's a sign of endearment to put you out into the universe.
Yeah, okay.
Burn
I
it.
know, I'm sad. This will be my first year and forever that I will not be there. I have my husband's family reunion, and I won't be in the tractor parade. But I did.
Oh, I thought you
sponsor.
were going to do that.
No, Bluebell gets a break.
Yeah,
Not
so
driving
Bruce-
my tractor.
I saw Bruce had a T-shirt on for the tractor parade.
Yeah, I sponsored it, so, but no.
That's his only clothes is from these events.
I know.
That might be true.
Remember when Bill Cosby used to always wear some Temple University thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Temple University shirt.
Yep.
It was a sweater, wasn't it?
Sweaters and
Yeah.
sweatshirts, yeah. Reindeer sweaters.
We've got a minute and a half before we can.
All right, I'll sing and dance.
Please don't.
We'll recess.
like-
Before.
My books.
All right,
Hey,
bye-bye.
take care, Barb.
You have a
Bye,
good night.
Barb.
Do you have anything to share?
Jill, would you like to say anything, seeing as though you're here?
No, I'm just happy to be here and
Well, we're glad you. Okay.
I watch you guys online, so it's
You
nice to
lucky
be in
girl.
person.
Yeah,
So,
you lucky
yeah,
girl.
It's a lot.
We're cuter in person.
Yes,
The
yes.
makeup
I was-
shows up.
I'm just saying. Oh.
And then we have drug court graduation.
I just had a second hand.
Mhm. Bum, 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 bum. I don't know. Looks close to me.
It is. Are there any public comment?
No public comment.
Hearing no public comment, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
That's not.
What am I gonna do?
Roll
Roll
call.
call? Sabrina?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Sarah?